Welcome
Oh,
to a new edition of Insurance Questions Podcast number 92. Holy crap. If you add Sarah and my age together, we're still not even close to 92. So, I mean, Don is, but that goes without saying, you know.
yes.
Today is June 13th, Thursday the 13th. Ooh. Oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. It's nothing.
No.
Nothing. All of our viewers know that we usually talk about life insurance on Tuesday. No, excuse me. We talk about taxes on Tuesday, life insurance on Wednesday, and today we usually talk about what do we talk about, Donnie?
I'm not going to say it because you always have a comment when
Say
I
it.
say it.
Say it.
You say it. You
Chicken.
do it. Sarah,
Chicken.
what do we
No.
talk
No.
about?
Oh, I'm not going to say it. Go ahead.
I'll spell
Uh,
it.
Annuities.
Oh, look at that.
You like that,
Oh, and
right?
don't forget to like, subscribe, share. You can fan mail Eddie personally. Um, he's blowing up on TikTok,
Yes, he is.
which is hilarious because he's like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "That's hilarious. That's why I don't want it."
Just so you know, all the comments and statements by Eddie Buffalo, Sassy Sarah, and Donnie Lowe are purely for entertainment purposes. Hey, I never turned my microphone on, so hopefully they heard me. If not, they're gonna hear me now.
We can hear
We
you.
hear you just fine. You're good.
Whoa, look at that fancy
Testing.
microphone.
1, 2, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Sybilis. What was it from Saturday Night Live, Don? I forget what that was from.
I'm not sure.
Well, before we get started, we've had a hot conversation this morning because our last commercial, well, our reel on TikTok blew up. And the topic was, what do you say when somebody says they don't need insurance? All right. And I I I just want to go over a couple things. Okay. I love it that everybody is engaging with this and opening up a dialogue because you're giving us a show to talk about today, you know. So let's go to the first one. Insurance is a gamble. I don't gamble. What do you got to say about that, Donnie Lowe?
Wow. It's all a matter of perspective, you know. Uh, it depends on the type of insurance that you're referring to as well.
Correct. And that's where I think we're getting a little bit into the woods here.
Yeah.
Next one, haven't gotten sick or went to the hospital in 2 years. That's 135 weeks times 104 weeks, $14,000 to not get sick. Question mark? We hardly ever talk about health insurance on here. So it's life insurance we're talking about here. But we, if you want health insurance, we can have a show on that. Let us know.
Well, hold on. So I have a funny story because everything that everybody's saying, I believe health insurance to me is a big scam. You have it just in case. And if you never get sick, you never use it. And it's not really even a funny story. It's just the way everything happened is we were looking at doctors near us who just took cash payments and they set you up on a monthly plan. If something major happens, they deduct from that amount, similar to health insurance, but I'm actually utilizing it. It's not an astronomical amount. I think it was like $200-300 a month or something like that for a family. It was not bad at all. We were looking at stopping health insurance, and then as we're getting all this data together, my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, had to go to the hospital, was in the hospital for a few days. First time ever I've ever hit my out-of-pocket maximum. And not just from that, is because we were already close to the deductible. I'm like, screw that. He has bad allergies. We're just going to get the whole array of tests and figure out what's wrong. And he had to have his adenoids removed, his tonsils removed, or not his adenoids were removed or shaved down, something like that. Anyways, multiple hospital stays. There was a surgery in between. Like, we used the benefits that year. So yes, health insurance can be a scam, kind of, but it depends on you're paying for that sense of mind. If something does happen, yes, you'll pay a lot because, of course, we're in the US and everything's expensive, and we're not going into that debate, but you need it just in case.
So let's go to the next one. I spent more on insurance in the past 4 years than my truck is actually worth. It's a scam. I'd rather get sued. Well, we're not talking about vehicle insurance either. So,
Right.
I feel your pain because I have to pay for my car insurance too. Okay. Yeah. This is a good one. This is a good one, Don. You're gonna love this. Intent and purses is to line your pockets and not pay out when things happen. Well, you want to touch on that, Don?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm sure some people have had experiences with health insurance, as an example, where maybe they need a test and the insurance company says, no, you don't need this test. You got to
Yeah.
see a different physician or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
So some insurance companies do decline claims, and it's all variable, meaning, just there's so many different circumstances. So some people have experienced that.
Yes. You ready for the next one? And this is going to be the last one we do, and then we'll move on to annuities.
All right.
Insurance is a scam. Scam. LMAO. Pay them thousands of dollars just so they can say that they're not going to cover something for you. And half the time your copayment with is more, and this is good grammar here. Copayment with is more than paying fully without.
Hold on, restate that.
I'm reading it like it was typed.
I understand.
Insurance is a scam, LMAO. Pay them thousands of dollars just so they can say that they're not going to cover something for you. And half the time your copayment with is more than paying fully without. What?
Yes, I can kind of see that. Yeah. So like, I think they're more talking about, again, health insurance.
Yes.
When you go to the doctor, you get the MRI or you get the other things. If you did a cash payment, it would be less because they hike up the prices for the insurance company to hit that amount. Not going into the whole US health situation, because yeah, that's bad. But yeah, we'll just keep it at that. Because I could go on a rant. Yeah.
Oh, like we got her going. Well, go ahead,
Hold on.
Sarah.
Hold
Go.
on. Although, when Eddie first found this out, guess what he said to me, Donnie?
Uh-oh. I can imagine.
He said that I prepared him being bombarded with people saying really mean things, such as with the health insurance. I'm like, yeah, I did. I got you used to it. It's okay. I helped thicken your skin.
Well, it just shows you the power of the interweb. It's as of right now, we have 525 views just on that reel. And
that was posted how
comments
long
said they
ago?
didn't like it,
How long ago was that reel posted?
36 minutes ago.
So there.
Yes. And so Sarah made me do a live one to respond to that. And no one's listened to it yet, Sarah. So
I didn't say, I said you could. I said it would be better to respond to people.
she's more like,
going to
do
go
it,
on tangents
do it,
about
do it. I dare you. I double dog dare you. Do it. And me being the sucker, I did it.
that's not how I said it. Anyways, I mentioned responding to people. The problem is they're on a tangent of health insurance. There's nothing you can say or do. You're going to have to respond to every single person, and then they get into a war with you. Like, I've seen so many horror stories of that. So it depends on how much. Eddie, you know what? I take that back. Go and respond to everyone and fight them, because I'm tired of you over talking.
I think it's pretty funny. Oh, even my daughter Katie. Oh, by the way, Katie is doing well. She's home.
That's wonderful. Wonderful.
And I might actually have some merchandise with the Eddie Buffalo, but we have the number 14 because that was always Katie's number in softball since she's been a little girl. Because not only was her number, but she was born on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So,
and just
I wanted her to be Katie Valentine, but that kind of sounds a little bit bonk chicka bong bong.
Donnie, anyways, just to give you kind of a heads up, he had a Pop-Tart before. So he's
Oh,
gonna
no.
interrupt a
Pop-Tart,
lot
Pop-Tart.
and over talk a lot. He's
I
like,
love Pop-Tarts.
And it
yeah,
had the
he needs to
icing
be
on it too
worn
then.
out. Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
good. That's
so just a
delicious.
heads up.
So what are we doing now, Don? After
Well, I was
I'm
just
done with,
gonna-
I'm getting down off my soapbox.
No,
No,
you're not.
I was gonna say with regarding health insurance, do you know when that came into play in the workplace?
What?
Health
When
It's,
health
insurance.
it's a
insurance came
statement
into the
from somebody
workplace?
online, Don. It
No,
isn't
no, no,
like I
no.
know them.
No, I'm not saying him. Do you know when health insurance became available through the workplace and the reason why?
I don't know, but if I had a guess, I would say it had to have to do something with the meatpacking business back in the day, in the 30s, maybe.
Hold on.
Well-
So
Oh, don't look it up.
employer-provided health
The Google
insurance-
girl cheated.
Don't look it
Stop
up.
it, Eddie. I swear to God, you interrupt me one more time. I'm going to come to Greenville and like sew your mouth
Yeah,
shut.
come on,
What?
come on, come on.
I'm-
Bring your
I'm
suit.
glad
You can go
Buffalo's far
swimming.
away.
Me and Sassy Sarah have been fighting the past 2 days, so
Oh boy.
I just about had it with her.
So
Yeah, because
before
he
you
won't
read
stop
your
talking.
Google statement, and you can then correct me if I'm wrong.
So it was employer provided going back to the late 19th century, but it wasn't widespread until 1940, 1950s.
Okay. And before that, it was offered. And do you know the reason why? Does it state the reason why?
It
Because
does
there
not.
were
That was a quick Google search.
wage controls implemented during FDR's multiple
Deal.
terms of presidency. So the only way that employers can lure employees over to work for them, because the wages were the same,
Mhm.
is
Oh,
they
that
would
makes
try to
sense.
offer some benefits. And health insurance
That's
was
pretty
one of
cool.
the benefits. Yeah.
That's
So anyway,
amazing.
it's got nothing to do with annuities.
But it was good. Since we're not talking about annuities, I like doing my little voices, and I want to tell you what happened the other day.
Oh
And
boy.
Sarah was like, "No, no." So I can't believe nobody's mad at me yet because I do my Texas accents. And so one of my boxing coaches, he go, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." I'm like, "What am I doing wrong?" He goes, "Y'all gotta slow it down." Did you understand me that time, Sarah? Was that better?
That to me sounds really, really slow. So I don't
My
know.
name is Sarah. I drink sarsaparillas.
Ooh, sarsaparilla.
I don't even know what that is, Don. You'd always see it in the old westerns in that.
What's a
Yeah,
form of, it's
I
a
think
root
that's
beer.
root beer
It's a different, has a slightly
because
different
it's
taste.
root beer is made with the sarsaparilla root. That's why it's called root
Oh,
beer.
Look at this. We are educational here at Insurance Questions Podcast. We're talking about
Yes.
stuff. We're not even supposed to be talking about any of this stuff today. We're supposed to be talking about a nudity. That's
I know,
what
but
Donnie
I
always
have-
like is to be a nudity.
I have one more tip for health insurance I was going to
Go
add.
for it.
Let me do that
Okay.
real quick. In 1999, health insurance premiums for a family was about $5,800. As of 2022, Donnie, I'm ignoring Eddie right now.
I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive
What
me
amount
if
do you think it
goes
was
too
at?
fast.
In 2022,
As an average, I would say
yes.
about 12,000.
22,000.
Oh my God.
And I was paying 5,500 in 1999.
Did you ever see, and like
I'm
maybe
sorry for all
online,
of our listeners. Go ahead.
like somebody would show, in whatever 1960 something or 50 something, when he had to go to the hospital to deliver our baby, people would pay cash or a payment
They would buy
plan.
the babies done.
Yeah.
Did you get your choice? Did you get a good one?
I'm not even gonna go there.
Was there a money back
I got a
guarantee?
comment in my head, but I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, go ahead, Don.
Good
Be like the
job,
rest of us.
Donnie.
But
Join
anyway,
us.
it would be
One
like,
of us. One of us.
like $250 or something like that,
Mhm.
or even less, and then you just pay it off, $5 a week or whatever till it's paid off. But have times changed and expenses
Well,
increased.
I remember when my mom first got sick. she was at South Buffalo Mercy Hospital, and they were still hospital wards. Do you know what that is, Sarah? I'm not being funny. I'm being serious.
Yeah, hospital wards is where they separate the hospital where you have different types of, no?
You go into the room, Sarah, and there's like 6 or 8 patients in the same friggin' room. And that's
Okay.
going back, I don't know, late 70s, early 80s. They were still doing stuff like that.
Mm.
So how have things changed so much, you know?
Yeah, now the most you'll have is 2 in a room,
Mhm.
typically.
So who knew?
Wild.
So
Boy,
nudity,
uplifting conversations.
a nudity. What you got for us today, Don? Because I know you've been sending me stuff and I was kind of ignoring it,
Yeah, I
but you know
figured.
that you're used to that by now.
I am used to that.
What do you
So
want to
what I
talk about today, Donnie Lowe? This is all you.
well, I thought we would just very briefly touch upon indexed annuities. And an indexed annuity is basically it's a fixed annuity that's tied to the S&P 500. So
What do
if
you
the
mean by that,
market,
Don?
so the Standard and Poor's 500 is a group of 500 companies that are tracked, their stocks are tracked on the market into a certain, like we'll say fund, keep it simple. And as those stocks increase or decrease, the S&P, Standard and Poor's 500, increases or decreases in value. And it's a market gauge, really. So, hey, the S&P was up today by 2 points or was down by 3 points, whatever. And so it's just a kind of a big gauge on what the stock market is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, so the insurance companies are able to tie in their payouts on annuities based on the Standard and Poor's average. And you can have it so that you can have a floor, meaning if this S&P loses money throughout the term of your annuity, you won't lose any of your principal. You might not gain any money, any interest or anything, but you won't lose what you put in. So if you put in $100,000 and the S&P is down 10% throughout the course of the annuity, you'll still have your $100,000. Now there's a fee that's paid for that, but it gives you some sort of form of security, some peace of mind, knowing that
Now,
you're
when
not
we
going to at
talk
least
about
lose
index
money.
annuities and basements and ceilings, what do they mean by that, Don?
So the basement is the floor, meaning the annuity, the insurance company will guarantee that it won't go below a certain value. So
Mhm.
that, and typically it's so that you don't lose the principal that you put in. But on the converse side of that, if there's a ceiling, so let's say the ceiling is at 7% and the S&P is at 12%, you're gonna add in your annuity, you're gonna earn the 7%. That's the ceiling. Because the insurance company's taking the risk of that money for you. So that's a floor and a ceiling. But I did learn of a newer annuity that's available, and it's an index annuity tied to the S&P 500, Standard and Poor's 500. But instead of looking at the averages on a daily basis, it's an intraday analysis. So the annuity can adjust on whatever the market's doing up to 30 times throughout the course of a single day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think
I didn't even know that, Don.
yeah, it's a new product from one of the companies that we work with. And so I was on a session about that this morning, just trying to learn a little bit more about that. And I thought it was fascinating. And they kind of went back and said if this was available, say over the past 20 years, they showed it what the index annuity performance was and what it would have been with the intraday measurements. And it's always going to increase because they can spot if a market's going to increase or decrease throughout the course of a day, rather than waiting for the end of the day to know whether you won or lost.
No,
So if they,
is it different than using the actuary table?
well, it is. I think it's more utilizing algorithms. And although they didn't say this, my guess is there's probably some form of artificial intelligence built into that. So when they see whatever activity is going on and there's going to be a dip in the price, they may sell and put more cash into the annuity. And then when they see where it looks like it's going to start to increase, they might take the cash, purchase the stocks again, and then let it increase. So it's pretty interesting.
Now, this all sounds fine and good, Don, but something happens. It's an emergency. One of the kids are in the hospital. I need cash fast. Can I touch this money? Is it liquid?
Well, you can, but there are caveats to that. Depending on what year you're in the annuity, and annuities typically go from 3 to 10 years. Some are longer.
2?
Yeah, some could be 2 years. But there's a fee, a surrender fee, basically, that you have to pay. It's a penalty fee. But most of the annuities allow you to take 10% of the value of the annuity with no fee. Now you will have to pay income tax on that.
Why is
But
that, Don?
because the money is tax deferred, the gains are tax deferred in an annuity. So if you pull out early, you'll have to pay some tax on that.
And if you pull out early, do you got to tell the tax lady?
The tax lady will know about it because you will receive documentation that you pulled out money from an annuity. And it should be taxed.
Actually, may or may not know about it, because if they don't get the documentation, the only way we find out after we file the return is that the IRS sends a nice little letter saying, hey, you owe a crap ton more in taxes. Trust me, that happens a lot. Oh yeah, I did forget I got a $50,000 check. Like
So in this case, you should not pull out.
Well, it's all depends on what
Look at Sarah. Look at Sarah's face.
on what you're.
You don't even look
you're
at
in it
me.
for.
Look at me, Sarah.
because you just can't control.
But that's
yourself.
surprising because the life insurance company is responsible to report that information back to you.
Yeah.
So maybe the client just forgot they received that documentation.
Or they just didn't want to tell her.
Yeah,
You
is it
know,
a 1098-R perhaps that is generated, Sarah? Do you know?
It is a 1099-R, yes.
1099 or 1098?
1099 or 1098-R?
Oh, I'm sorry, 1098. Sorry, I thought I heard 1099. I'm like, no, wait. Distribution from pensions, 1099-R, not a 1098.
Oh, okay. That's why you're the
1098
tax
is mortgage interest. That's why I'm like, y'all are throwing too many numbers at me.
So
yeah, that's right. I thought
let me ask you this, Don.
they
So I
use
take
that
the
too,
10% out. You know, I have a job where I get a good bonus and I want to put that money back in. Is that possible?
It depends on how the annuity is set up. And so if it's a deferred annuity, you can put more money into it. If it's not a deferred annuity and more of an income annuity, immediate annuity, then you cannot put any more money into it. That's why it's important to talk with a professional that understands your situation and knows what your intentions are, then they can guide you the proper way.
Makes sense, Don. And that's the thing, no matter what it is, I mean, you really should talk to somebody that's professional, whether it's me and Donnie, whether it's Sarah. I'm sure there's people very close to you. In fact, we can even refer you to people if that's something that's indeed you want to do. And the easiest way to do that is to go to www.eviagency.com.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
So
that.
you can see all about us, how to contact us, which was on the first screen. Gives us our little mission and what we actually do. And that's how you can contact us right there, eddie@gmail.com. And that's actually my cell phone, which should be removed, 716-541.
So you're going to read it out?
Whatever. It's there anyways. I just did it on the screen. So I want to make sure everybody that's listening to it know how to get my cell phone number. Yeah.
You can't take it off the web now. It's always gonna be
been
there.
one of those days, let me tell you. So
I like how you're like, oh, that's my cell phone, and then proceed to read it out.
No.
Like,
not smart, not real smart about some stuff. Uh, well, I think this was a very interesting. We'll keep it at that. Interesting.
Interesting.
We're actually going to be on location Friday, taping a show at one of our clients. So look out for that. I don't know when it's going to air. I think it might be airing on Monday or next Friday. So we'll figure that out. But like we end every show. If you like working with people that are just like you, we're the people to see. www.ebiagency.com, 716-306-2020. And oh, by the way, I was watching our video from yesterday, or whatever day it was, your tax, the last time you did your tax day on Tuesday. And I love how she's always listed first. Did you notice that? Did you see that? And if it was alphabetical, still, you shouldn't be first, but you are. You are.
Because I'm awesome.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen. So for
A for awesome.
let me change it. For Sassy Sarah,
He's got it down now.
Low,
No, he's got to
Eddie
talk.
Buffalo. Thank you for tuning in. Watch for our new stuff. We have the ability to do live TikToks now, so watch out, world. Here we come. So everybody have a wonderful weekend and stay safe. Take care.
Ciao.
Bye.